When Darktide launched in 2022, it was an absolute disaster. Broken, unfinished, overpriced, players were furious, and many abandoned it entirely. And in this industry, games that start like this rarely get a second chance. People were hyped after all. This was supposed to be the next Vermintide, one of the best co-op FPS games out there. But instead, they got a game that was unfinished, buggy, and barely ran on some systems. All while being sold at a premium price. Players were pissed, and the game got torn apart in reviews. But here's the crazy part. The developers didn't give up. Unlike so many other failed launches, they actually stuck with it. 3 years of updates, reworks, and constant improvements later, and it seems like the Emperor really does protect, because Darktide is a completely different game now. And that's not even the best part. They nailed the Warhammer 40k atmosphere. This isn't just another generic sci-fi shooter. Darktide throws you into the boots of an ordinary Imperial soldier, trapped in the nightmare of a never-ending war. If you thought Space Marine 2 made you feel like a godlike warrior, this game makes you feel like a survivor fighting for every inch. And on top of that, you get the state-of-the-art soundtrack to accompany all that heretic cleansing, making it a truly authentic 40k experience. The gameplay is fast, satisfying, and brutally unforgiving. And if your team doesn't work together, you'll feel it immediately. Even though it's a fresh experience, there's still a strong sense of familiarity. It has that unmistakable Left 4 Dead vibe, but in a grim, dark Warhammer setting, packed with all the benefits that modern gaming has to offer. Darktide also has a surprising amount of depth, but it doesn't force you to be a hardcore min-maxer to enjoy it. If you want to theory craft the most optimized builds, fine-tune every talent point, and squeeze every last bit of damage out of your weapons, you absolutely can. But if you just want to jump in, grab a bolter, and purge heretics without overthinking it, that works too. The game strikes a rare balance where both casual players and hardcore grinders can find their own way to have fun. You're never locked into a single playstyle, and you don't need to spend hours researching builds just to be viable. Just stick with your team, play your part, and you'll have a blast while mowing down unrelenting hordes. But what's actually new in 2025? First off, we've got 8 new missions spread across 2 new massive zones, bringing the grand total to 21 missions. That means more heretics to purge, more endless corridors to get lost in, and even more opportunities for your teammates to accidentally abandon you while they go loot some random crate on the other side of the map. And just in case you thought that things were getting too easy, we also got a new special assignment type mission, which, spoiler alert, is not a relaxing evening stroll through the Hive City, unless your idea of a relaxing stroll includes getting mopped by chaos-infested monstrosities. Next up, we have Auric missions and Maelstrom missions. These introduce rotating modifiers that change up the difficulty, sometimes in fun, creative ways, and sometimes in ways that make you regret ever queuing up in the first place. And then there's Havoc mode, which is an interesting approach of a ranked mode to a PvE co-op game, and Darktide's version of let's see how much suffering you can endure before rage quitting, adding negative modifiers, mutation, and some of the toughest challenges in the game. This is where you queue up with your friends to truly test your team play, and eventually your friendship. You can't get anywhere without proper team coordination and synergy. You can't handle everything by yourself anymore, and if you stray off too far or become too selfish, well, you'll have some explaining to do back in the lobby, because that's one of the fastest ways to drag your entire squad down with you and fail the mission. It's a straightforward system that works. You complete missions to rank up and get better rewards, or you fail miserably and get demoted. But what's a Warhammer game without horrifying new ways to die? All these modes are also accompanied by new enemy types like the Chaos Spawn, Tox Bomber, and the Twins. And let me tell you, if you thought Darktide was unfair before, just wait until one of these things jumps you in a dark hallway. But don't worry, the Emperor provides. We've got 20 new weapon variants, 9 entirely new weapon groups, and 16 brand new variants. From power moles to bolt pistols to heavy stubbers, Darktide finally lets you express yourself the only way that matters, through excessive, overwhelming violence and firepower. One of the biggest improvements Darktide has seen since launch is the crafting system overhaul. Originally, it was a frustrating RNG grind where you had little control over the perks and blessings on your weapons. You'd spend hours hoping for good rolls only to get stuck with something useless. But now, Fat Shark finally got it right. The updated system lets you pick and upgrade blessings, reroll perks with more control, and actually customize your weapons the way you want. Instead of praying to the RNG gods, you can now build your arsenal strategically, making the grind feel rewarding rather than punishing. And let's not forget the long-awaited talent and class overhaul. No new classes yet, but this update massively expanded each class talent tree, offering 3 distinct playstyles per class. And the best part, you can freely experiment and reset talent points whenever you want. No annoying resource costs. So go ahead, mix, match, get creative, or completely ruin your build. Your choice. If you believe that fashion is endgame, good news. Darktide now has way more non-premium cosmetics, thanks to the penance reworks, which is basically the achievement system, and the commissary shop. Finally, you can purge heretics in style without paying a cent. Even the narrative has gotten a boost. More voice lines, better mission storytelling, and a stronger sense of why you're actually fighting besides just the thrill of vaporizing heretics. But wait, there's more. At the time of recording this, the Nightmares and Visions update was just announced, and it's bringing even more content to the table. Ever wonder what it's like to battle through waves of enemies in a psycho-induced vision? Well, now you can. Enter the Mortis Trials, a twisted new mode where each run lets you craft unique playstyles by selecting different abilities and buffs. Survive and you'll unlock hidden lore about the Morning Star and its inhabitants. Ogrins are finally getting the complete talent tree overhaul they deserve. More build options mean more ways to smash, bash and crash through hordes of enemies. If you thought Ogrins were just walking mid-shields before, think again. Think you've mastered Havoc mode? Think again. New challenges, tougher balancing, and even more brutal conditions are on the way. Just when you thought that you had a handle on the madness, Darktide finds another way to humble you. With all these updates and more on the horizon, there's never been a better time to dive back into Darktide. So gear up, gather your squad, and get ready to face the heretic hordes. Even though Darktide still sits at its full launch price, Steam sales regularly slash it by half. Additionally, if you're looking for an even better deal, key sites often sell it for an even lower price. So if you're unsure about buying it, consider waiting for a sale to pick it up. Also, if you enjoyed the video so far, consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it really helps the channel grow. So we have Fat Shark still pumping content for the game and loads of improvements since launch. But why is Darktide one of the best co-op games right now? There are plenty of co-op shooters out there, but Darktide brings a refreshing, brutal take on the genre. The gameplay isn't just satisfying, it's intense, relentless, and forces you to adapt in ways most games don't. And that's exactly what makes it so addicting. This isn't the kind of game where you grind for loot, check off objectives and log off. No, the gameplay itself is the reward. You're not just queuing up for better gear, you're jumping into another mission because you can't get enough of how satisfying it is to blast heretics with your carefully crafted build. Every weapon has weight, every encounter feels like it could be the last, and the combat never stops being fun. Whether you're turning heretics into mist with a bolter, or diving headfirst into hordes with a power sword, Darktide makes every fight feel raw and immersive. A live service game is only as strong as its player base. No matter how good the gameplay is, if matchmaking takes forever or servers feel empty, it's a bad sign. So where does Darktide stand in 2025? Despite its rough launch, Darktide has managed to keep a dedicated and consistent player base. It's not pulling numbers like some free-to-play shooter, but Fat Shark's commitment to major content updates has kept the game alive. And every time a new patch drops, you can see a spike in players returning to test out the new content. Matchmaking is still fast, lobbies are full, and whether you're diving into quick play or higher difficulty runs, you're always going to find a squad. Now let's be real, Darktide isn't pulling the numbers of a game like Helldivers 2, and it probably never will. There are still areas that need work if it wants to keep growing. The lack of new classes is a big one. The talent tree overhaul helped, but the game is still running with the same 4 classes we had at launch. At some point, people are going to want more. Mission variety is another factor. Even though we've got more maps now, the core objectives haven't changed much. Some fresh mission types or large-scale objectives would go a long way in making each run feel less predictable. And finally, can we please get end of mission stats like in Vermintide? Right now, when you finish a mission in Darktide, you're just shown a basic squad kill count and that's it. There's no real way to measure your performance, no way to compare different loadouts, and no way to see if your build is actually making an impact. In a game like this, having detailed stats isn't just a nice touch, it's essential. It helps refine your playstyle, rewards individual contribution, and honestly, it just feels good to know you carried your team. Vermintide had it, and it worked great, so there's no reason Darktide shouldn't have it too. Small quality life changes like this would go a long way in refining the experience, and that's exactly why Darktide in 2025 it's in a better place than ever. At launch, Darktide had issues, no one is denying that, but here we are in 2025 and the game has completely turned things around. The combat feels amazing, the class system is way deeper, and the updates have added more content, more variety, and even more horribly ways to die. Is it perfect? No, it could still use more mission types, new classes, and some extra endgame content. But if you want a co-op shooter that feels raw, intense, and rewarding, then yeah, Darktide is 100% worth playing right now. Whether you're a veteran or a first timer, there's never been a better time to jump in. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.